Welcome to Talkin' Jets. My name's Ryan and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside my co-pilots. I've got Matt O'Leary and Green Bean, the Jets fan. Boys, how you doing tonight? Green Bean, I'm going to throw it to you first.
Dude, I'm in the best mood ever. I think this has been a great week. I couldn't be happier to be here with my two boys talking Jets tonight.
I love it. Matt, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Another pro day to watch today, so I'm sure we got a lot to get into. But I'm excited for draft season. It's a fun time.
All right, boys and girls, Matt and Green Bean's channels are linked down below in the description. We're going to be giving away a shirt at the end of this stream. Today's format, all you have to do, go down into the description down below. You're going to see a link to the full-time coaster tour. That is Green Bean's, was it third channel? You guys got a whole bunch of So all you have to do, if you want to get entered to win a shirt, you have to like and subscribe the video that I linked for full-time coaster tour down below. You have to subscribe, like, and leave a comment saying the Talking Jets panel sent you there, and then we will have our winner at the end of the night. We'll pick someone. But before we get into all our topics tonight, got to pay some bills. NFL draft season is upon us. It's possible that you might have Trevor Lawrence's haircut in your pants. That's why our partners at Manscaped, the leaders in below the waist grooming, have partnered with us to make sure you don't gamble on shaving your balls the same way you gamble on football. For all my draft geeks out there, we have an exclusive 20% off promo code JetsTalk. Go to manscaped.com, get 20% off using promo code JetsTalk plus free shipping. Make sure you check that out. They hooked all of us up, and it is very, very worth it. Absolutely worth it. Gangrene 317, my brother, thank you so much for joining the newest member of the Jets Talk 24/7 family. You will be a part of our members-only 10 o'clock mock tonight after this stream. I love it. I love it. Throw some JETS in the chat for Gangrene. All right, boys and girls, we got a bunch of news to get into. We could talk about the Zach Wilson Pro Day. We're going to talk about this big trade. That's where I want to start this whole conversation. The big trades between the Dolphins, the Eagles, and the 49ers. So the Dolphins wind up trading back from 3 to 12 with the 49ers. They give up, the 49ers give up 3 first-round picks and a third-round pick. Then the Dolphins trade up from 12 to 6, giving up 2 first-round picks and a third. Was 2 first and a third, or 2 firsts and a fourth, or something like that? There was another pick thrown in there. I don't exactly remember. 156 or something. To get back up to number 6. So it's pretty interesting with everything that's going on, because at this point I'm looking at the draft board and I'm saying, all right, if we're looking at this, Trevor Lawrence 1, Zach Wilson 2, number 3, you don't give up 3 first-round picks and a third-round pick to not take a quarterback. So another quarterback is going to go number 3. I believe that to be Mac Jones. Then 4, I know. That's what I think it's going to happen. Then number 4, you got the Atlanta Falcons. I think they're going to take Justin Fields in that slot. And then 5, Penei Sewell to the Bengals. Then you have number 6 with the Dolphins. Apparently the Eagles and the Dolphins were trying to work out a trade, but they knew the Jets were going to take Zach Wilson at number 2, so the trade never formulated for them to jump up to number 3. So they wind up trading back to number 12, bringing some picks for next year, going to figure it out what they got in Jalen Hurts this year. Now, with Miami sitting at 6, they're going to have their pick, most likely, of Pitts, Chase, Smith, and Waddle. They're going to be able to pick whichever wide receiver, tight end they want to give to Tua. That's what I think they're going to wind up doing. 49ers-wise, you guys heard me say it. I think Mac Jones is going to be their selection. I think when you look at the quarterbacks, Garoppolo, Matt Ryan, all these guys have had in the past, I think Mac Jones seems to fit that mold the best. Plus, we heard some comments from Shanahan, sort of alluding to like not really hiding his hand anymore. He's like, when you're up to number 3, it doesn't really matter so much. Snipes, my brother, thank you so much for becoming the newest member of the Jets Talk 24/7 family. Throw some JETS in the chat for Snipes joining the channel. So
Thanks.
I want to throw it around to you guys and get your thoughts on the trades, how you felt about it. Do you think it was good value? What players do you think are going to be picked at these different spots? Who won each trade? Green Bean, I'll throw it to you first.
All right. Well, there's a lot to unpack here, so hopefully you'll give me a second here.
Absolutely.
So I go into some great detail in my most recent podcast about this, but it's really interesting. I think that the trade back from Miami, from 3 to 12, if you look at point values and all that, and then, cut it in half as the years go down and all that sort of stuff, it's really close numerically. It's like less than 50 points away. So it's a good trade back. If you look at the Niners, what they gave to get up, it's good. Now, that removes any quarterback premium. Like a lot of the time when somebody's coming up to get a quarterback up into the top 3, there's some added premium that gets thrown on there. There was none of that. But that all said, it's really a tight trade as far as point values and all that sort of stuff. Now, what Miami gave the Eagles to get back up to 6 is a significant overpay when you look at point values. Now, think about this. And this is the simplest way that I could say it. If Joe Douglas was to trade back to 6 and only get a first in 2023 and then a third, would you think it's enough? Now, I personally would not. I'd be fucking furious that that's what he got. Now, when you look at it from Miami's perspective, if they were going to get Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts, like you said, we don't care which one it is. We like them both. If we come away with one of those guys, it's fine. We were going to take one at 3. If they can move back, gain a first in 2023 and a third and still get the player, sure, it's a good trade. They've squeezed a little bit more value out of that that 3 overall pick. So it's a positive. But that all said, I think that if they were patient and they waited this out, there's still a month to go. I'm fairly confident because of the data that we have on similar trades encompassing that distance pick-wise. I think they would have gotten a lot more. Again, it's positive, but it's not what they could have gotten. And again, I would be pissed if we traded out of 2 and only got a third in 2023. But nobody even knows what the NFL is going to look like in 2023. They might stop the draft entirely. We don't know anything about that far away. That's why it's so dangerous to do things like that, because look, this coaching staff might not even be there. Who knows what happens this year? So that's why those picks are minimized in value. So it's a positive because they were going to get one of those guys at 3 anyway, and they squozen more little juice out of the lemon. At the same time, I think that they jumped the gun and they overpaid to get back up to 6 after a decent trade with the Niners.
Matt, what are your thoughts on everything that happened with this trade? Or
Yeah,
these trades, I guess.
Friday was awesome with the Zach Wilson pro day and then 2 trades happening right at the same time. Like, I was in my happy place. That was tremendous. But the first trade, so I like the aggressiveness from San Francisco. I'm going a different direction than you. I think they're going to take Trey Lance, actually. I think he would be a phenomenal fit in that style of offense. And he is not my quarterback 3. I like Justin Fields better than him, but I for just whatever reason, I think that San Francisco is kind of saw what Patrick Mahomes did to them a couple of years ago, and they could see kind of something similar there. So that's where I'm drawing the connection. So I like the aggressive play, and Miami was in a good spot to move back. Like, they have their guy they just drafted last year, and that's even more capital if you want to pull off a Deshaun Watson trade in the future. I agree with Green Bean that it was a little bit much to pay that price to get back up, but I don't understand it from the Eagles' point of view, because I thought the whole reason why they weren't playing their starters in week 17 was to get that better draft pick and to land one of those key starters. And then they said, oh yeah, by the way, F that, we're going to trade back to 12 where Devonta Freeman's probably not going to Devonta Smith's probably not going to be there. And Jamar Chase isn't going to be there. And Kyle Pitts probably isn't going to be there. And you kind of traded yourself out of it. And now you have to take the guy that was injured last year and Jalen Waddle. So I don't get it from their perspective, but I like Miami wheeling and dealing. I think it's smart on their end. And I like the aggressive play from San Francisco to go up and get a quarterback.
Yeah, I think the idea of them coming up is good. With Philadelphia, I think part of that getting the higher draft pick was probably, former coach driven more than anything else. So I think once he got canned, it kind of went to the wayside. I do think they are in a horrible cap situation and they need to figure out how to rebuild that team. And they know it's not getting done this year. They give Jalen Hurts a year to try and figure it out. And then they'll have 2 first-round picks next year. And I think that is more valuable to the Eagles than having that number 6 pick. Now, I do think the Dolphins, Greenbean, did you say that the Dolphins got bad value going from 12 to 6?
Correct.
So that, to me, I think they were okay with that because the way they considered that trade was the move back from 3 to 12 and 12 to 6. So it's really them moving from 3 to 6. And I think that's where they wanted to be so they could land one of those playmakers like we were talking about. I think all 4 of them, Pitts, Smith, Chase, Waddle, all 4 are going to be there for them at that point. And I think they knew if they had gone back any further, like with Carolina or something like that, there's a good shot that the Eagles take someone at 6, that the Lions take someone at 7, and now they're getting their choice of the 3rd weapon off the board, potentially the 4th, depending on what happens with the Falcons. Right. So it's interesting nonetheless. I love the shakeup. I love the trades. I don't love that this puts the Dolphins in a really good spot to get Deshaun Watson next year, like Matt alluded to. In the event that Tua does not work out, I think more than likely Watson sits out the year. They try to rework his image, and then he winds up getting traded next season when the Texans don't have to pay such a heavy cap hit like in 1 year. Because they'd lose cap this year if they were to trade him. If they wait till after June 1st, now they kind of save a little bit of cap, or it's not as damning. We're gonna get to some super chats, but I want to talk about Zach Wilson's pro day too. Do we have anything else to touch on with the Finns, Eagles, 49ers trade?
Well, one last thing I'll say is that did you see that Shanahan was at the Mac Jones pro day right after he said that comment about not having to hide his hand any longer? So I think it does insinuate that he's going Mac Jones. But the weird thing, if they moved up from 12 to 3 and gave up 3, first round picks and a 3rd or whatever it was, and they take Mac Jones, I think that might have been an overstep because more than likely they didn't need to go that far to do it. Now, again, when you're looking at I don't care about overpaying, I just want to make sure I get my guy. Okay. But again, this is where organizations, in my opinion, make their long-term success is being able to properly navigate, not just Mike McCagnon this piece and just throw all your resources, or Mike Tannenbaum. Mike Tannenbaum didn't give a shit. He would throw everything he had at the thing he wanted. And then next year we have 3 picks. That's the kind of guy he was. And yes, it worked for a minute, but once it started to erode, we had nothing. The bottom fell out. And that's where this stuff can kind of get dicey. So I'm really curious to see if they do what Matt said, which is what I actually think would be smarter, or if Fields happens to make it past the Falcons or whatever, taking him as opposed to jumping up 9 spots to get Mac Jones at the 3rd overall pick. It just seems weird to me.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't view Mac Jones as the 3rd best quarterback in this draft, but Fields falling the way he's fallen, and Lance having, I guess Lance and Mac Jones, they both only have 1 season under their belt because Tua was the starter before Jones took over. My issue with Jones is he played on such a loaded team, best offensive line, best wide receiver weapons, best running back, best defense, best head coach. So it's tough to get a real clear, accurate grade on him because the talent level was just their backups are starters on every other team they face. So do I think they were paid? Yeah, I think they probably overpaid a little bit. But if they're getting their guy and they had a worry that Atlanta could take someone that might, be in that Matt Ryan realm of, I don't want to say immobile, but definitely not a running style quarterback, I could understand the potential threat. Michael Clark, thank you so much for joining the channel, being the newest member of the Jets Talk 24/7 family. Guys, drop some JETS in the chat, a few Robert Saleh faces, get me screaming. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's move on to our next topic before we get into the super chat questions. Zach Wilson's pro day happened on Friday, and I have got to tell you, I was at work and I almost had to go like away in the closet because like I could not stand up straight because how aroused I was. Like that's how excited I was about watching Zach Wilson's pro day. Now the throws were very, very impressive. My concern with the whole pro day hype and everyone going like bananas over that, banana land, I think we got to see 3 years ago Sam Darnold have one of the most incredible pro days where he was throwing in the rain. They thought they were going to cancel the pro day. There's no reason for him to like show his arm off in that kind of weather. Well, I love that. And then 3 years later, it winds up, blowing up in our face. So it's hard to get like overly excited and like overly, well, it's not hard to get overly excited. It's easy to get overly excited, but you got to keep everything in with like a little grain of salt. But I want to get Matt's point of view because I know Matt's a little fired up on the whole Sam Darnold topic and everything going on with Zach Wilson. So do you want to go into the Zach Wilson stuff first, or do you want to just kind of sound off on the Sam Darnold stuff?
No. I'll do it. I'll do it all in one fell swing. I've come to the decision for my own sanity and mental health. I am no longer doing the quarterback debate. I have said my piece millions and millions and millions of times. So if you don't know where I stand on this, sorry, you're gonna have to wait till draft night, I guess, if you haven't been paying attention. No, but in all seriousness, it was a fun pro day for sure. Even Justin Fields one was really fun today. I don't think you should be basing your decision on where you rank the quarterbacks based on their pro days. I think you should look at full sample, all the tape and stuff like that. But at the same time, like But
Matt, didn't you see that throw? It was that was the throw, right? Like
I know. Yeah, I know. Same throw. I know. I know, man. But at the same time, like I also hate the fun police who are like, why are you getting so excited about it? Can you at the same time be like, hey, logically, yeah, this doesn't change my feelings on the guy, but also like, hey, that was a really good throw. I'm going to retweet this on Twitter and just have fun and be in the moment. Like it's frustrating, man. That's why I want the draft to be here so this could all be over. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun pro day. I was having fun.
Green Bean, your thoughts on the whole Zach Wilson pro day? Wait, but before you do that, Brian Dolan becomes the newest member of the Jets Talk 24/7 family. Brian Dolan, thank you so much for becoming the newest member of the Jets Talk 24/7 family. Boys and girls, drop some JETS in the chat. Green Bean, now your thoughts on Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
And his pro.
Well, here's what I'll say. I think it was good. Like the throw that everybody's referencing it's a nice throw. I think it was good. It didn't get me overly excited one way or the other. It just, to me, it looked good. Like, that's it. And I'm not seeing, I think like when you really want something, like we can create narratives. Like I saw people who don't like Zach Wilson. They had 15 reasons from the pro day why he sucked. And then there's guys on the side that Zach Wilson is better than Trevor Lawrence. And they had their reasons why it showed how great he was. Me, I'm really, like I said before, I like Zach Wilson and I like Justin Fields. I happen to like Trey Lance. I like Mac Jones as a guy who sits for a year, like that kind of stuff. But I really do trust Joe Douglas and staff, like whatever they choose to do at 2. If it's a trade back, I believe it's because they're smart and they know that the value was too good to pass up. If they take Zach Wilson, I know it's because they've done their research and they feel this is the guy that they want to tie their careers to. And the same thing goes for Justin Fields or whoever. But me personally, I didn't see anything in that throw day that I didn't already think one way or the other about Wilson. It was like, yeah, okay, yeah, it was nice. It was good. Like, that's all it did for me. I didn't get excited about it. But that's not saying it's negative. I didn't see anything bad either. I did see a couple misses, but that is what it is. Funny, that was the first thing I saw. Somebody tweeted me that there was like 3 misses or something. That was the first thing I saw because people want to fucking give me that stuff. But yeah, so anyway, I thought it was good. I thought it was fine. The throw was nice. That's how I see it.
I loved the throw. Like it was as
Yeah.
much as it was no one around, there's no defender on the receiver, there's no like defenders coming after him. The fact that he was able to launch that ball as far as he did, it was like 60 yards in the air. Like that, it was an incredible throw. But like I said, and like you guys said, you don't want to get too excited for the pro day. Now, I will say this: I got excited. I got excited. It's hard not to get excited. It's like everything we're hearing right now from other teams, from insiders. It really feels like Wilson is the lock. This feels as sure of a top 2 selection as we've had since the RG3 Andrew Luck year. Like that was okay. We knew Luck was going 1. We knew RG3 was going 2 for like the entire time, like since teams traded up. That's how it feels right now, to the point where you almost have all 3 quarterbacks locked in at the top of this draft. So really interesting stuff. All right. Any other thoughts on the pro days? I didn't get a shot to watch Fields' pro day. You know what? Actually,
I did.
One thing on the Zach Wilson pro day. Do you think that he actually had a hamstring injury, or do you think he just didn't want to run the 40 because he was going to drop like a 4.7 and Fields was about to run like a 4.4?
Who, Mac Jones?
No. Field. Oh no, Wilson. Wilson had a hamstring injury, so he did not.
Did he? Because Mac Jones was noticeably limping a little bit in his pro day. You know what I watched there, like when he was walking back and forth, you could see a slight favoring. So yeah, that was there too. Yeah, you know what's funny about Fields' pro day is that another one. Like there were throws that it's like, dude. I mean, Fields almost looks effortless, and I'm really cautious about using that word flick. Like it was just a flick, and look at. That's all we heard about Darnold when he came out. It's like he just flicks it, man, and it's like, yeah, flicks it from his back foot. And so I'm not the biggest fan of the flick. I'd rather a nice form throw and get that shit going. But Fields' balls in his pro day, all of them seem to wobble to me. And the ball still got there. It traveled the distance. It made it work. But I don't know what that was, but it did rub me. I was like, what is this? Why are all his balls wobbling? Like, what is that? What does that mean? So anyway, it was just something I noticed. I thought he looked great too. And 4.4, people said, why does it matter if your quarterback runs 4.4? I said, well, when your quarterback never makes it to his second read before running, that's what you want him to run. You want him to have a fucking 4.4 if he's taken off every third play. So, maybe that's part of his allure, the people who would like to have that type of a quarterback in their offense. 4.4 is very attractive, man, for a quarterback.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I guess before we get into Super Chats, I know I keep saying that, but I want to touch on one more thing before we get into that, and that's Sam Darnold's trade value. Because now that the 49ers have traded up, there seems to be a lot less going on. I saw someone in the chat, so I guess, Matt, you must have brought it up. We were talking about it yesterday, too. The idea of, in the event the Jets are not offered better than like a late third-round pick for Sam Darnold, I would prefer to not trade him for that, and then instead maybe package him and pick 23 to move up to 19 or 20 to get maybe a J.C. Horn or an Elijah Vera Tucker that might be falling, because that would be a situation where Washington or the Bears would still have a first-round pick. They would get a quarterback that they are not getting in their current draft slot, and the Jets get a player they like from either the 19th or 20th pick. And point-wise, if you're wondering what that is a value of a late third-round pick, that trade up. So that might be more valuable to us than whoever we would get in, say, the late third, early fourth, or something around there. I do think Carolina is probably the last team that would trade if they give up their second round pick, that's the team that I think could land Sam. I know there's rumors about Denver and all that good stuff, but I think Carolina feels like they're desperate enough. The Matt Rule thing where he was going to be our head coach, wanted to coach Sam. I think there's a little piece of that there. Teddy and Sam know each other, so there's a little bit of chemistry there with those two. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here. So, Green Bean, I'll throw it to you first. What are your thoughts on Sam Darnold's trade value? Where could he potentially go? What would you like to do with him? Is there, a value that you would prefer to get for him, or maybe hold on to him? Do you want to roll with him into the preseason like Joe Douglas did with Carson Wentz and Sam Bradford back in his time in Philadelphia? What's your opinion on the matter?
Well, there's a lot of, here's my entire opinion on it is that people are freaking out about one side of it or the other, but the truth is that every single word we've heard about Sam Darnold's trade value or if he's getting traded has come from speculators who don't know a damn thing about what Joe Douglas is doing. Don't forget, Adam Schefter said a few months back that the Jets were looking at a second and a fifth for Sam Darnold. Remember that. He said those words. A month or two after that, he said, I think Sam Darnold's trade value is a late first. The Saints, the Steelers, that kind of in that area for Sam Darnold in the first round. Then he came out and he said it's looking like a third round pick. Now everybody's saying Joe Douglas overplayed his hand and they're talking fourths and fifths. This is literally every word of this is unfounded and doesn't mean a single thing. Anybody thinking that the Chicago Bears signing Andy Dalton or the Washington Redskins signing Ryan Fitzpatrick somehow takes them out of the Sam Darnold's market, if they were in it to begin with, is out of their minds. Don't forget, Sam Darnold's best situation would be to go to a team and sit for a year. People aren't so stupid as to not realize that. I think very few teams are going to trade for Sam Darnold and depend on him to be their immediate starter. He needs development. He needs time. The guy is obviously damaged from his time with Adam Gase. So I think that the market's still there. I think that it was never going to happen until the draft. And it might not even happen during the draft. It might be a Teddy Bridgewater situation where we showcase him in the preseason. We give him an offense that he can run, very simplified. He looks decent in it. And then we get our trade value when somebody realizes that the guy they were hoping would work isn't working and they want to get some insurance or somebody goes down or whatever it is. So there are so many options. I don't think Joe Douglas overplayed his hand. I don't think that anything changed. It's just the speculators that have changed. They're trying to be right. So if you say every single option in the world, you're going to be right at some point, right? So that's what I see. I think Sam Darnold's value is fine. I think that we'll get what he's going to, Joe Douglas will get what he's going to get for him. And if he does, in fact, take a quarterback with two, which I'm not even convinced he's going to do yet, I think that he'll get what he needs to get for Sam Darnold, and that'll be that.
Matt, your thoughts on Sam Darnold's trade value and everything going on with that?
Yeah, I'm not really sold that it's going to drop to like a third or a fourth. Or I was listening to a podcast. I forget who it was. Forgive me, but it was on the Badlands feed, the Connor Rogers and Joe Caporoso vehicle. And they had somebody on, and he thought maybe they can get, at this point, like a sixth for Sam Darnold. And I almost veered off the road when I heard that. I don't think it's that bad. I still am dead set on a second. I think someone will give up a second round pick for him. The teams you listed off all seem to make sense. I did have a video come out today, and it was based on a caller from Just Jets. I wanted to go more in depth on it than just, like a minute or two answer on the podcast. And it was Ben in Jersey. He called in and wanted to know about Darnold and 23 up to 8. And I used the same logic and applied it to Denver at 9. And I think it'd be a little bit of a stretch to see that as good enough value for the team moving back and taking on Sam Darnold. So I don't think either of those are likely, 8 and 9. The one that I think is probably more likely is 34 and Darnold to Washington and Chicago. To me, that value is a little bit closer and makes a little bit more sense. And that would give the Jets 3 picks in the top 23, which I like that a lot. Not that I'm necessarily, opposed to moving 23 and getting up to the top 10 and then not picking into 34. I just think the value is a little bit closer on both of those two. And they still kind of need that younger quarterback. I'm not sold on Taylor Heineke after one playoff game. And I don't think Washington is either. So they need an insurance plan behind Ryan Fitzpatrick because we know he's not a long-term solution. He's 38, 39 years old. And let's be real here. Andy Dalton's not a long-term answer in Chicago either. So I think you're more likely to get one of those two teams to take a swing. And I think those packages are a little bit closer than 23 and Darnold to get up into the top 10.
I like it. I think that's making a lot of sense, boys. Now let's get into some super chats. Brian Dolan, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Newest member, or one of the newest members of the Jets Talk 24/7 family. Guys, before we get into that, God, I keep saying we're going to get into the super chats, and I pause. We are doing a t-shirt giveaway today. We got over 600 people across all the different platforms right now. Make sure you hit a like on this video and then go down into the description. There's a link to Green Bean's other YouTube channel, the Full-Time Coaster Tour. I linked his most recent 10-minute video down below. All you have to do is subscribe to that channel. You have to leave a like on that video, and you have to say the Talkin' Jets panel sent you there in a comment. Then we will pick a winner at the end of the show to get a shirt at the end of the show. So make sure you do that. Head over there. But drop a like on this video beforehand. Brian Dolan, so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. He says, greetings, gents. Get ready for the Stormin' Mormon. Wilson all the way. LDS leading, drives, and scoring. I love it. I love it, Brian. Benjamin says, nothing Jets related. Just want to show my appreciation for you guys. You make life as Jets fans way easier, and it's always a better day when you guys upload. Thank you, Benjamin. That is absolutely why we make our videos. It's the gratification of, people enjoying them. I can't tell you, the first video I made when I had 10 people watch it and 50 people watch it, and I watched it go up, I was like, oh man, I was like, people actually clicked on it, and then they probably clicked off real fast because I was not very polished at that point. But it's fun. We have a great community between the Talkin' Jets panel and all the Jet content creators, from Richie over at Jets Media, Ali from Loyal NY Jet Fans, Jets Central, even though we haven't been able to collab with him yet, the guys over at Let's Talk Jets Radio. There is a huge Jets content creator sphere, and it's just been a lot of fun getting to know all the guys in the chat. And Green Bean, Matt, and I are literally talking all the time. This friendship has developed through making YouTube videos and everything like that. So it's been a lot of fun. So Benjamin, thank you so much for that. Steven, thank you for the super chat. Says, Jets aren't moving anywhere, and Mac Jones will be a 49er. Trey Lance is the unknown, not Zach Wilson. That's it. That is the message. Brooklyn 929. I guess, is Brooklyn 929 one of our guys in the chat? Is that probably maybe directed towards him?
Well, it's Steve in the chat, but he's Steve in the chat, but that's the guy that gives away the Jet stuff on Twitter.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, Steve. Yeah, dude, you're the man.
He's a good dude, man.
So let's bring this up. Do we think Mac Jones is going to the 49ers? And I guess, where do we think Trey Lance falls? I know Matt had kind of mentioned he thinks maybe Trey Lance goes to the 49ers. So, Matt, I guess we'll start with you first. Where do you think these two quarterbacks end up?
Mac Jones and Trey Lance, are we talking now, or?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
So I really do think Trey Lance would be a good fit for the 49ers there. And to me, he's in the top 4. He's in my top 4 anyway. He comes right behind Fields at 3. And I think he is absolutely worthy of a top 10 pick. I'd be stunned if he made it past Carolina at 8, Lance. Mac Jones, I don't look at him as a first round quarterback. I think he is a second rounder, but he is someone who is going to go in the top 50, maybe the top 3, which I think is absolutely insane. But I would be surprised if he makes it past the Bears at 20.
Matt, what would you say if Mac Jones went number 3? There's a phrase. There's something with fruits or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I would say, you know what? That move was banana land. Trading up, giving up 2 additional first round picks to move up and get Mac Jones. You get slapped with the banana land.
I love it. Green Bean, your thoughts on Mac Jones and Trey Lance? Where are they going?
Let's do this. I think that the first quarterback taken overall will be Trevor Lawrence. I think the second quarterback taken overall will be Zach Wilson. It's not necessarily the Jets, but I do believe that. I think that Mac Jones is going to go third. I think that Atlanta will take Justin Fields. And then I think we're going to skip a couple, go down to the Detroit Lions. Will take a quarterback. If there's one there, I think they will take Lance. And was there one left? No, I think that was it, right? Yeah, so that's what I think. And that's why I think the Panthers know that, and they're going to want to trade up, and they're even going to throw Robbie Anderson in it to try to get us to rectify an admitted mistake. So 3 firsts, a second, and Robbie Anderson. What do you think?
Ooh, I don't want it. I want the quarterback. But so where did you say Lance was going? I missed that last part.
I think I said Detroit. Yeah.
Detroit? I could see Detroit. That's that cold weather. Well, he's not cold weather, but Lance playing for, what was it, Wyoming or no, North Dakota State.
North Dakota. Yeah.
And let him sit behind Goff for a year. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Let him sit. Let Goff play out his contract and just groom Lance. And that's the way it should be with him, man. He had a whole year not playing. You know, these guys, guys like that, they should have a minute. They really should. And I think Detroit has the perfect situation to do that, just like Chicago and Washington. And that's why Washington and Chicago are going to see where this plays out and see if anybody does slip and fall. And if they don't, that's when the Sam Darnold market starts to heat up again.
Ooh, I like it. Greenbean and I think, are a little more dialed in on the same path than I think Matt is. I agree. I think it's going to go Lawrence, Wilson, Mac Jones, Fields at 4 to Atlanta. I think they get the hometown kid going back to Georgia.
Yeah.
And then you'll look. I liked Matt's idea of Trey Lance going to Carolina. Or no, what did you say? You said Fields going to Carolina?
Chicago.
Is that what you were thinking, Matt?
Right? Is that what you said, Matt?
For Mac Jones?
No. Was it Trey Lance? Who did you have Carolina taking? Or maybe you said he wasn't going to fall.
I said he wouldn't fall. I said Trey Lance would not make it past 8.
That's what it was. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So I do agree with that. I think the floor for Lance is probably 8. Fields might drop further if Atlanta doesn't take him, I think that could be where you see someone in the, like, I mean, maybe we wind up with him in the division, because I could see the 49, or not the 49ers, the Patriots trading up a little bit to try and secure him. I don't know which pick it would be. I'd have to go through the draft board, but interesting nonetheless. Muttviles, our boy, what's up, dude? Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, sup, guys? You think Zach Wilson can bring us to the promised land and win a ring? Well, that's the goal, right? Like, because with Sam Darnold, it's not just hoping he turns into a good quarterback in just one season. It's hoping that Sam Darnold, like, if you run it back with Sam, you need Sam to show you he is a bona fide top 10 quarterback that can lead you to the Super Bowl. If you don't think that can happen this year, you can't run it back with him. You have to make the pick. If you think Wilson could lead you to the promised land, you make the pick at 2 and you roll the dice with that. And it makes a lot more sense. You have him, Douglas, and Salah all on 5-year contracts right now. It would make a lot of sense. And I think all of us are pretty much on board. So I think Zach Wilson can take us to the promised land. But, you know, every quarterback we draft, I have that hope. And then it just kind of goes up in flames. I did see, oh man, I'm using my phone as the second camera up there. And I forgot to take a screenshot of this. Have you guys seen the QB base or QBase like percentages on who they think's going to be a star quarterback? Like Trevor Lawrence has a 24% chance of being a like really good quarterback. Zach Wilson has a 20 point something, and then it's Fields has like maybe an 11, and then it drops like from there going further and further down. In retrospect, I'm pretty sure QBase had Sam Darnold as a 50% chance to be a bust and only like a 15% chance to be like a successful quarterback. So they're like stupid accurate on some of this stuff. And they think Wilson at least has a 1 in 25 or has a 25% chance of being a stud. So I guess, Matt, I'll throw it to you first. Zach Wilson, he taking us to the promised land?
I think so. I think he can. I think any of the top 3 quarterbacks in this draft class can. To me, I think that the whole thing with one of the things with Sam is the amount of pressure that's going to be on him this year. If he did decide to run it back, it would be immense. The first 3 and out, he would get booed out of the building. I just don't see how that's a possibility or a scenario in which he could thrive. So, I mean, that along with the contract, along with the regression in year 3, I think that's why you take the chance. And I think you have to feel pretty solid about the top 3 guys, you know, in this draft class.
Greenbean, what about you? You think Zach Wilson's taking us to the promised land?
I think if we pick him, yeah, sure. I think he's got some chops. And I think it's more about knowing how to build a team around the quarterback we pick. It's funny when I do all these mocks, we do the Monday night mock and we do all these other mocks. And I talk to people about mocks, and it's funny. Like they want Zach Wilson at 2, and then the first thing they want to do is take a cornerback. And it's just a funny thing to me. It's like we really beat up McCagnon for doing just that. Like taking a quarterback that high. Your next pick really should be something to support him. It really should. Use your premium capital on ensuring that guy makes it, because you already used the most valuable asset that you have to get him. But it's just a funny thing. So I think if we grab Zach Wilson and we build around him the right way, make sure that offensive line is intact, add that shifty wide receiver, a legitimate tight end. Hell yeah, I think we can do it.
You touched on something really interesting there, because I have been preaching cornerback or guard really as my number 23 pick. Guard, I think you're probably a little more in line with. That to me is more of the Elijah Vera Tucker. If he falls, that's who I'm taking. After that, I'm not so sure I'm going offensive line. I'm not so sure I'm going offense in general. And to me, I guess maybe you could go wide receiver there. I don't know how much I love that, because this feels like a pretty deep wide receiver class. So I am definitely on board with J.C. Horn. I'm definitely on board with Elijah Vera Tucker. And then after that, it starts getting a little murky.
Well,
and I've been on.
Sorry. Go on.
Well, so I've also said at pick 34, I would, I like guard. I like guard with I think guard has to be one of our top 3 picks. Obviously not at number 2. But I would not be upset with a defensive pick at 23 if it's an edge rusher or a cornerback.
Agree. I'm with you on that, Rye. I get where Green Bean's coming from 1,000%. I agree. You do have to get pieces around him, which is something McCagnon did not do for Sam Darnold. But if it's for a corner, then I could totally live with that. I think the first 3 picks will be quarterback, and then 23 and 34, guard and corner. Which one they go at what spot, I think is still up in the air depending on how the board breaks. But I'm pretty much convinced that those are going to be the first 3 picks in just differentiating order depending on what they want to do at 23 and 34.
Yeah. Well, the way that look, where that change-a-rooney comes in is when you look at a guy that's supposed to go in the top 15 and he slides down. When you're looking at draft value and all that, yes, you can consider that. But what I'm really referencing is that desire to grab the cornerback without even considering the most important need for a quarterback. Like we have 2 glaring holes on our offensive line, potentially 3 with McGovern, being on shaky ground. So but really you have 2 glaring holes. Waiting until the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, even though there's a nice collection of interior offensive linemen in that range, not taking that guy who's clearly above, beyond the rest of the pack, I think is a fool's errand. Because there's a lot of cornerbacks in this class as well, and they're definitely going to be there at 34. Stokes and Asante Samuel. We need a nickel, so there's quite a few options there too. Again, I'm a firm believer that if you're going to do this and use the number 2 pick on a quarterback, you really got to think hard about why it is that you don't want to get him help with your next premium pick.
That's where I'm sort of frustrated, because I completely agree with you. Yeah, I completely agree with you, but I completely disagree with the way you have to go about it, because I think you can build around Zach Wilson or whoever the quarterback is, assuming it's Zach Wilson, by taking like we brought in Corey Davis, we drafted Mims last year. You've got Crowder under contract, you got Keelan Cole, and you got Herndon coming back. Like that to me is a pretty rock solid complement of weapons, but it's also Herndon going into last year of his deal. You got Crowder going into last year of his deal. You have Keelan Cole going into the last year of his deal. So I understand the need for a receiver, but I don't think it's a round 1 need. Guard, yes. After that, I could take a running back in the 3rd round. I still think Kenny Gainwell is a great pick in the 3rd round, and now all of a sudden you have surrounded him with 2 new wide receivers that were not here last year, 2 new running backs in Coleman and in Gainwell that were not here last year. And then maybe we take one of your tight ends that you love so much.
It's coming
later on.
You guys are going to all be freaked out, but it's coming.
Eddie DeJesus, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, Sam Darnold is not going anywhere. Eddie, I love you. You're completely wrong. V-Man, thank you so much for the super chat. He said, hey guys, is this the year we finally beat the Eagles? Yes, this will be the year we beat the Eagles. Our defensive front four is going to be so legit with this defense coming in. I think regardless of if you have Sam or you have Zach Wilson coming in, there's not going to be that big of a disparity in terms of like knowledge, I guess. And not to mention, is it week 17 that these games are actually going to be played, or is it just the 17th game that we have? Because we're playing the Eagles this year as our 17th game.
Yeah.
But is it the final week of the season, or is it just like they're going to arrange these 17 games?
Yeah, I think they're just going to – I don't think it's locked in as the last game of the year.
Okay. So I do agree. I think this is the year we beat the Eagles. Green Bean, your thoughts? You think we're beating the Eagles this year?
Yes, I think we're going 12-4. This is going to be the year, the first year head coach Jets thing. You remember like the Rangers, they didn't win anything since 1940, and then they hired that coach, and they just went right to the cup. That's this year for us. What do you think?
I love it. From your lips to God's ears. Matt, how you feeling about the Jets beating the Eagles this year?
I feel pretty good about it. I'm not a Jalen Hurts guy, and I think they're kind of in shambles over there. The Jets on their way to 7-10 season this year.
Ooh, I'm kind of with Matt on that. I don't think we're going 12-4 Green Bean or 12-5. I think it's more in line with the 7-8 win team. I think we'll definitely be better. I just think it's going to be a year before we see double-digit wins. Michael Clark, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, I hate to say this, but am I the only one more worried about our linebackers than cornerbacks? I mean, one injury and we're screwed, relying on the draft, I guess, to get depth. Mike, this is something that we talked about a little bit yesterday, and the linebacker position is a sneaky area of need for the Jets because we have Davis, we got Mosley, and we haven't seen Mosley in 2 years. So I don't know what he's going to be like, how he's going to perform. I do believe we take a linebacker earlier than I think any of us would like because Robert Saleh used to be a linebackers coach. Like, we might see one as early as the second round if we trade Sam and we get a second-round pick for him or something like that. I would be very upset with that type of selection. But I do think we're going to take one earlier than a lot of us probably think we should because of exactly what you mentioned with our linebacker depth. That said, I do think cornerback's a way bigger area of need than linebacker, and I would hope we address that before we address linebacker. Green Bean, your thoughts on the whole linebacker-cornerback situation?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is that with Brian Poole not under contract and some other question marks, I mean, the truth is we have more to support our cornerback unit on the roster than we do linebackers currently. And the good news is that there's a lot of them. And I know people in the draft, and, a lot of people are really sleeping on Jared Davis, I think. I mean, I spent some time really going over his first 2 seasons, and the guy was, dude, you want to talk about showing an upward trajectory. He was good, man. And it dipped for whatever reason. The consensus is that Patricia didn't use him right. And he really does stand some potential to surprise a lot of people. And I think that Robert Saleh and Albrecht, and I think this is a good group of guys to get that out of him. And so that would be a really good turn of events. So I don't think we're, relying entirely on the draft. But like I said, the good news is that this draft has quite a few of them that I'm really digging. And I think in the 3rd round, they might go earlier, man, but I don't think so. I think there's too many other places, but I could see one of our 3rd round picks being a linebacker, and I wouldn't be upset in the slightest because we don't have any.
So that's an interesting thought process. And actually, Jared Davis, I reached out to my buddy Jay over at Let's Talk Lions, and I have a collaboration with him coming out about Jared Davis, and he really likes him. He thinks, just like Green Bean said, the Patricia thing is what sort of nixed it for him. They changed defensive schemes, and he was just played out of position the last 2 years. So bringing him in with Robert Saleh, a guy who knows linebackers, I think is a very, very good move. And I think the Jets should be excited for this move way more than I was excited. I mean, I was not excited at all when I heard that signing. But after talking with Jay, I'm a little bit more on board with this. And I think we should be looking forward to it. I still think linebackers going to be an area of need, but I do think it's an interesting thing nonetheless. Matt, your thoughts on the linebacker cornerback situation?
Yeah, the linebacker situation isn't great. Like, I'm not here to tell you that it's a strength or anything like that. I do think corner is a much more pressing need. In today's NFL, I think you really need to put a focus on edge and corner. With that being said, I do fully expect them to draft a linebacker in the mid rounds because, as you guys alluded to, there's no depth. I don't trust Blake Cashman at all. The guy is a sneeze away from landing on injured reserve. So I think they desperately need to get someone in there, maybe in like the 4th round, like a Monty Rice from Georgia or something like that, just for some depth. And I don't think that Mosley's a long-term solution. Like, I think he'll be here this year, and then after that, who knows? But they absolutely need to start addressing this position, and I think they can do that, especially with a guy like Robert Saleh, who has worked and done wonders with linebackers in the mid rounds and on the cheap.
Guys, we are doing a t-shirt giveaway tonight. All you have to do is go down into the description. The first link down below is a link to Green Bean's, I can't say newest channel because you've definitely had that channel a little bit longer than some of the other ones. But all you have to do is click on the first link in the description down below. That is the full-time coaster tour. All you have to do is like that video, subscribe to Green Bean's channel, the full-time coaster tour, and leave a comment on that video saying the Talkin' Jets panel sent you there, and we will give away a shirt at the end of this stream. The E-Empire, my brother, thank you so much for becoming the newest member of the Jets Talk 24/7 family. Drop some JETS in there for our newest member. You are about to be part of our members-only 10 o'clock mock tonight, and it's exciting. This is going to be a good one because the Jets are now sitting at 2 with a whole bunch of different teams picking behind them. So where do the 49ers go? Where do the Eagles go? Where do the Dolphins go? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be the first mock with the new draft order going. Steven, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, offers don't grow on trees. If the Jets were moving, they would have taken San Francisco offer. That's the dead giveaway, like it or not. So that's a really good point, and it's something I definitely forgot to bring up when we were talking about this beforehand, and it's the fact that the Jets and 49ers or I shouldn't say the fact, but people are saying that the Jets and 49ers didn't talk beforehand, and the 49ers moved up to number 3. Now, I don't believe that to be true. I do think that the 49ers and the Jets talked. They realized Wilson was going to be the pick at 2, or Lawrence, either way, because I think those two are going 1-2, even if there's like some Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold kind of swap thing going on, like we saw in 2018. I do think those are the top 2 picks, and I think they knew it, and that's why they felt comfortable going up to number 3, and that's why Shanahan doesn't really care about tipping his hand at this point, because he knows he's going to have his choice of Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Right. So, Green Bean, your thoughts on why the Jets did not talk to or did not trade with San Francisco, and do you think there's another offer out there that the Jets could potentially be looking for?
Well, first off, what I'm going to ask everybody to tell me is if they are really choosing to believe that the 49ers and Jets did not talk. And the source of that being the same guys who have literally gotten every single thing that Joe Douglas was supposed to do in free agency dead wrong. Nobody predicted one of the players we signed, and they had us linked to a bunch of guys that we didn't sign. So why is it that all of a sudden these guys have been dead wrong the entirety of free agency, and we're all of a sudden going to believe that the organization that we just got our entire coaching staff from somehow did not speak with us about trading? Makes no sense. I don't buy it for 2 fucking seconds. I think it's the stupidest thing that anybody's tried to sell me. That being said, I think Joe Douglas has no intention of moving back to 12. Dude, you're thinking we're in the top 2. They want us to go past the top 3, past the top 5, outside the top 10 for what? For 2 firsts? It doesn't make any sense. if you're trying to rebuild this team, if they're going to ask to go back to 12, they better be coming with a first, second, third this year, a first and second next year, and a first and a third the year. That's the kind of stuff that gets you to go 11 spots back. What is it? 10? I don't even know. 10 spots back. That's where I lose my math, in that little area. So I think that they talked to the Jets. They knew right off the bat Joe Douglas wants significantly more than what they're offering to move back out of the top 10. And that's what really happened there. I think that there's no question in my mind that they talked. Makes no sense.
So, Matt, your thoughts on this whole San Francisco Jets possibly not talking?
Yeah, they 1000% talked. Well, as Greenbean said, there's the obvious connection. And if you truly did believe that there was a chance the Jets could be keeping Sam Darnold, then you call the only one you know for sure isn't trading out of the pick is the Jaguars. You know they're taking Trevor Lawrence. I know that there was the whole like the Fields, or maybe they take Wilson thing. They're taking Trevor Lawrence. Everyone in the world knows that. The draft supposedly started at number 2 with the Jets. So if you are trading up for a quarterback, you want to go as high as possible. So to say that they completely just didn't even consider calling the Jets and said, let's move up to 3 instead, I don't buy that for a second. I think they did want to move up, and Joe Douglas was, adamant about staying there. I don't think he wants to trade out of the pick, to be honest with you.
So one thing I kind of thought of with the whole potential, not talking or trading kind of situation, if the 49ers knew the Jets were not trading out of the top 10, because when you move back to 12, you're missing out on all the weapons if you did want to roll with Sam Darnold. So let's say you trade down from 2, but you want to go down to 8. The chances that Pitts, Chase, Waddle, or Smith is going to be there is significantly higher than back at pick 12, because I don't know where the Jets necessarily go at pick 12, because the top cornerback in Surtain is probably gone. You're not taking Farley with the back injury right now. That was my only sort of right. Exactly. There's no reason for the Jets to slide down that far. That said, they're taking a quarterback at 2. Guys, I just realized I do have Greenbean's channel linked in the description, but for some reason it doesn't show up on the stream. I think because I added it late in there. So what I did was I pinned it in the live chat. So in the live chat, all you have to do is click on that, go to that video, like it, subscribe to that channel, and leave a comment saying the Talking Jets panel sent you there. And that is how you get entered to win our shirt giveaway for tonight. So make sure you head over there. We're trying to get Greenbean up. Greenbean, how many subscribers you got on that channel right now? Ballpark.
On that one, I got about 440 or something like that. So
Ooh,
we're trying to get some attention to that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get him over. We got to get him into the monetization factor, because Greenbean's traveling around the country. Dude needs some money. So make sure you go check that out. All you have to do, and when you come back, after you subscribe, let us know what number subscriber you are in the chat. We'll call it out as we see it. It's actually a lot of fun to kind of do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks,
Brian Dolan says, Greenbean is a wise young man. I think he thinks either me or Matt is Greenbean for some reason.
Yeah,
sorry, Greenbean.
Clearly. I know, young man.
Oh, God. Mutt Viles, thank you so much for the super chat again. He says, with the 17th game being added, you guys think we can finally beat the Eagles for the first time in franchise history? Also, where's my man Justin? I'm getting down to Justin. I definitely saw him throw in a super chat at some point, which I'm just actually realizing now. I don't know if I see it in there. So, Justin, I know you threw something out there before. Or maybe it was Mutt Viles that did it, and I'm just reading it as Justin before. It's definitely possible. Real quick, let's go around. Let's say Jets beating the Eagles. I say yes. Greenbean, Jets beating the Eagles?
Yes.
Matt, Jets beating the Eagles?
Yes, sir.
I love it. Sneakers to Boots says, thank you so much for the super chat, says the media knows that we're an emotional fan base. All the crap they throw around is to get us riled up and argue about who's better, and pick sides. The experts never had our best interests. I believe that was how that one ended. I had to refresh, so I don't have the actual end of that. Don't have our best interests at heart. Yeah, look, the media wants to generate money. That's what it is. by generating clicks. Who's one of the biggest fan bases year in and year out in attendance and all that? The New York Jets are. Guess who, has the biggest market? The New York City market. Who's going to print the most newspapers? Who's going to do all this? It's the New York market. They are going to rile us up. They're going to tell us the wrong information. That's why I think all three of us probably started our YouTube channels. I was downright sick of watching ESPN and all the takes they had. And I was like, you know what? This is just BS. I can talk Jets better than these guys. I watch the games. These guys are clearly just like going for clicks and going for all that ad revenue and BS. So I guess, Matt, what are your thoughts on the media getting us all riled up?
I mean, it makes sense. We're suckers for it. That's all we do. We do, and some of it is like self-inflicted. We do it to ourselves. So they just continue to just, throw the meat at the lions, so to speak, and just let us get after it. But I do think they do that purposely. Today, I took the bait today. So here in New York, because I don't know where everyone is around the country. We have people watching all over. So Boomer and Gio are on in the mornings from 6 to 10 on WFAN, the sports talk radio station. And Gio, on my drive into work, I heard Gio talking about that nobody knew who Zach Wilson was a month ago, and that when the Jets beat the Rams, nobody was talking about Zach Wilson being, the consolation prize. And I was like, wait, hold on. Like, that's simply not true. Like Jets Twitter was talking about this guy since November. And I responded to that. And he was like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about, kind of a thing. But I just feel like the point is like the media in a lot of senses, or the national guys especially, they're so out of touch on this stuff that they go and want to throw the digs in there, and then we take the bait every time. So I totally see it. I agree with Sneaker to Boots 100%.
Yeah,
dude, the Boomer and Geo show is one. I would say the Carton. Is that Carton? No. What's the other one? There's another morning show in there that like gets me super fired up. Like I just hate their takes like consistently. I feel like they're out of touch. Like it's like, oh, they're dropping breaking news. I have reports that Adam Gase is getting fired, and we're like, we've known this for like the last like 7 games. Like, oh, he's getting fired after the season. He just doesn't know it yet. It's like, no, you're just throwing shit at the wall, and you're just hoping it sticks so you can be the first guy with inside sources. Like, go kick rocks. Sorry. Yeah. Matt, what is your thought, Green Bean, on the experts and all the media and all that?
Well, this is why they don't want us to have nice things, because we are the favorite whipping post of the entire league. The only fan base that might be more rambunctious and impulsive, they're definitely more negative than us, is the Philadelphia Eagles. We have it on every other fan base. Now, that's a good thing. We're more passionate. We're more involved. A lot of the times we're more educated. We're informed fans. But at the same time, all they have to do is say, watch this, and then put out a tweet like to their friends, hey, watch what happens, and go, I heard Joe Douglas is not going to draft Zach Wilson. It doesn't have to come from anywhere. And 3,000 tweets later, there'll be fucking ESPN specials on it and everything like that, because they know that the Jets fans will eat every last crumb of it. So we deserve it in that respect. I mean, hey, until we stop biting, they're not going to stop feeding. So that is what it is. And I think that once we are good, the NFL is going to hate it, because Cleveland, making fun of Cleveland doesn't have the same ring. Making fun of Jacksonville, with all respect, doesn't have the same ring. It just doesn't. No one really gives a shit about those guys. So, and then we're New York. So it's just, there's a lot going on here. So I think, yeah, man. And you're right, Ryan. That's why I started doing this. I'm like, you know what? These guys, there's no way that I can't do this. There's no way that I can't give a better take than 90% of these momos. So that's what we did. I think you two are better than every single other person I listen to. That's like a pro in this. You know?
That.
Yeah, man.
You two are better than everyone I listen to.
There you go.
I love it.
Matt.
I love it. This is like actually something.
You guys know how I feel about you.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, dude. This is, I mean, Matt got us on the whole ball train and, Manscaped and all that good stuff. Plug-in! Sorry. Hashtag promo code Jets Talk or hashtag whatever O'Leary's code is normally.
Just 20.
Jets 20.
Jets 20. I love it. I love it. Oh, God, I had one more thing I wanted to say about this whole media circuit. Oh, you know what I want to say? I have to say thank you to a certain extent to the media, because when everyone gets fired up, I still, and you guys still, have content to make based on their ridiculous, outlandish tweets and comments, and we try to bring it back to the norm. So while we are no better than, like, I guess a media personality in, like, posting a video or saying some type of comment, at least there's a... we try to support everything with some type of facts and our opinions on everything, and it's not just, it's going for clicks, I guess, but it's not necessarily the way they're doing it. Chris Bucco, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, invest in your investment, draft all offense other than corner. Green Bean, where did you hear the Wilson House thing? Because I heard that also. Oh man, Green Bean, I saw someone post your video from yesterday, I think it was, or maybe it was 2 days ago, on the Jets Reddit, and I was like, really? Oh man, I see Green Bean, and I put Green Bean with a little green heart, and I was just like, oh man, I'm reading through the comments, they're like, oh, who's that guy? Cool. I know him from the Talkin Jets panel. I was like, oh, I was like, Green Bean's famous. Cool. I love it.
That's so cool. Dude. I saw last week somebody actually put me as a source, and Green Bean reported. I'm like, oh shit, look at this.
I love it.
Yeah. So just to be clear, I do, just like you, Ryan and Matt, like, we have sources. Now, my sources aren't, I'm not talking to Rex Hogan or it's nothing like that. I have a friend who works at the Jets for the last few years. He gives me nuggets. Most of them are dog shit, so I never say it out loud. You know what I mean? But every now and then they hit. And I got a couple other guys that send me stuff that's pretty good. And I have a lot of people who send me stuff that's just, I would never say it because it's just guys throwing stuff to the wall, like we said. But there's a few guys that send me stuff. And when I can ask some questions and verify, at least to my, like my qualifications, if you will, like that looks real, I say, let me tell everybody about it. Now, the house thing, I heard it from somebody. I talked about it for a little while. I checked into it. And I said, you know what? Let me say this. Now, I even said in that video, make of this what you will. I'm not even buying it. I didn't say like, this is a fact. I said, this is something I heard. I don't believe this. I don't think that, any of this stuff is like, everybody's gotten everything wrong about Joe Douglas. So why would I be so special as to be the one guy who has the inside take? But when I hear something, I want to give it to you guys. Now, the one thing I will say is, you guys remember last year, I put that take out there that Joe Douglas never wanted Jamal Adams, never wanted Adam Gase, and never wanted Sam Darnold. And at that time, it was sacrilegious to say that about Sam. It was before the season started. We all thought Sam was going to be great. And I said, I don't believe it. But it's starting to look like it's all going to happen. Now, I don't know if it was right or if it was just a guess, but it's interesting. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for interesting so I can talk to you guys about stuff. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. No, that's exactly it. We want to hear any little tidbits of potential inside information. We try to keep things, as dialed in as we can, and we try not to spread too many things. I had one guy. I had to put down the little clicky fingers because I almost not like the keyboard warrior, but I was like the tippy tap warrior on my phone. Because one guy says, "Oh, what, Zach Wilson? He's not an NFL player yet. He can't have that kind of money. He can't buy a house in Jersey. Where's all that money come from?" I was like, his uncle owns JetBlue. He's the president of JetBlue. Yeah.
And FedEx.
Come on. Yeah,
yeah. And FedEx. So it's and they know he's
Is it FedEx? FedEx was Arthur Smith.
Yeah, I thought
Oh, that's right. I did mix that up. Okay, good. Yep. Thank you.
I got you. See,
I got a whole bunch of tweets to correct.
See, don't be one of those media personalities that's just spewing garbage, Green Bean. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'll just call it. It's all right. It's all right. That's why we're here. I screwed up yesterday. I said something along the lines of like Penny Sewell I've seen people put Slater ahead of Sewell, and I said because he opted out for Sewell, but Slater opted out too, and a lot of people corrected me, and I was wrong, and whatever. Sewell's going five.
We're never allowed to be wrong ever.
I know.
I'll admit it when I'm wrong. I've my memory is so beat to shit. I don't know what happened, but Becca hates it. I'll watch a movie and she'll be like, I was like, oh, you want to check this movie out? She'll be like, we watched that last year. And I'll be like, I don't remember it. So I'm going to watch it again. I'm big on life experiences change your outlook on things. So movies that I watched 10 years ago, I'm big on reading books, big on watching movies over again, because I will take that with a different viewpoint than I did 10 years ago, or that sort of thing. But normally I just kind of forget all the ins and outs, and I'm just excited, and I have goldfish brain. I'm like Dory from Finding Nemo. Not good.
Yeah, right. Oh man,
got to be careful.
That's right, but that's it. I mean, look, none of us want to say things look, in truth, we want to get views, we want to get clicks and all that, but it doesn't look like any one of us are willing to sell our souls to do it, to put something out there that's completely, clickbaity, and it's not even what the video's about and all that sort of stuff. So it's we're really cautious about putting our necks on the chopping block. You know what I mean? It's dangerous because Matt said, they'll never let you forget it.
Yep.
So when we do something, it's hey guys, here's something I heard. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm not saying I'm Adam Schefter, but at the same time, I think it's pretty cool, and I think you'd like it. So let's talk about it. What if this was real? That's really all it is. You know what I mean? I think it's fun. It's more fun that way.
I'm looking in the chat. I'm seeing E-Rock's it's all those weed drinks, Ryan. NY Jets Florida says weed.
Yeah.
I will plead the fifth, but I will say congratulations to New York, because it sounds like you guys are legalizing and you're about to have as much fun as we have in Jersey, boys. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
God,
there you go.
Oh God, this is ridiculous. Sorry. I'm switching off of super chats here. Jacob, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, if you could steal one offensive and one defensive player from across the NFL and add them to the Jets roster, who would you pick? Any players at all? Ooh, this is a fun one. This is a different kind of question. All right. Offensive player. For me, I love DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
There's probably someone else in there maybe that presents a better value-wise type, money thing. But as a player, pure and simple, Hopkins is my number one. I think he's absolutely incredible. I guess maybe you argue one of the quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, that sort of, let's say non-quarterback for that sort of thing, to just add him onto the team, because I think Mahomes is probably the pick. Then defense for me would probably be Chase Young. Would be my two picks. Green Bean, what about you?
If I could steal someone and apply them to this roster right now, I might take a Quentin Nelson. I love DeAndre. Mm-hmm. DeAndre Hopkins was my first thought. But I'm thinking, okay, well, it's kind of redundant. He's better than what we have. But at the same time, I think I might take the best guard in football right now and put him in there. And then
he's young
defense, he's very young. Or a Ramczyk or, somebody that's clearly dominant on the offensive line. And then for defense, I like the idea of Chase Young. I might still say Khalil Mack. I think getting him out of Chicago and putting him up, on the other side of Carl Lawson would be terrifying. And so I would do an edge rusher like that. Chase Young, Khalil Mack, and Quentin Nelson, let's say.
Ooh, I like that. Matt, what about you? You taking one offensive player, one defensive player? Who is it?
I'm stealing Green Bean's idea on offense and going Quentin Nelson. I was between either him or going with a receiver, but I couldn't think of a receiver young enough that I wanted to. And Travis Kelce came to mind too.
Yeah.
He's a little he's a little bit on the older side, so I decided not to. Defensively, I'm going to go TJ Watt. He's 26 years old, great pass rusher. I think that's the direction I would go on defense.
Very nice. Very nice.
I think all three of us were pretty much on board with the defensive pass rusher, which just goes to show you how much we really need that type of pick in this draft. I like the Quentin Nelson. After you said that, Green Bean, I think that makes a ton of sense. I think it improves our team far more than just adding DeAndre Hopkins would be. Plus, the age factor is totally different, and the money factor is totally different at this point in time too. We see Matt's got a little freeze bean action going. He's
Sorry.
like stuttering a little bit.
He?
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah,
I didn't really notice it, but I see the chat
I'm in a house.
saying it.
Yeah, I'm in a house today. I have full on top shelf
Straight
internet.
Ethernet.
Right yeah, exactly.
I love it. I love it. I was gonna say something else here. Where was I going with this? I don't know. I guess it's gone. In one ear, out the other. It's the weed. Marty Thompson, thank you so much for the super chat. What's up?
Wait, real quick. So Mikey Mal said Matto Freezy. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
We gotta have Matt's face. I should change the Matt's face. The Matt face was supposed to be him shaking his head because you can upload a GIF as as like an icon, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be perfect. Matt, send me a video of you shaking your head, and this will be perfect for all those times you're shaking your head at us or shaking your fan at at that. Ryan goes, Matt O'Laggy.
Oh no!
I gotta have we gotta have a frozen banana or something like that.
Yeah,
I think that would be
so
pretty
good.
funny.
But it never happens to him, so it's
No, it never happens to Matt. It would be such a few and far between
but that's
sort
funny.
of thing.
These are good. Matt O'Laggy's good
it's
too.
so great. You know what we got to do the next time we do a giveaway? Next week, what we're gonna do a different giveaway. But I want to ask the best like Zach Wilson names that we could come up with. I think that would be a fun one. All right, guys. If you want to get your chance to win a shirt at the end of the stream, all you have to do is go down into the description or look in the pinned comment on the live chat. There's a link to Green Bean's channel. It's Full-Time Coaster Tour. You have to like the video that we sent you to. You got to subscribe to the channel, and you have to leave a comment on that video saying the Talkin' Jets panel sent you there. Ooh, Nick says Matty Ice. Oh, so good. And he's frozen right now too. He's not. Or he's pretending like he's frozen. I can't.
I thought he was mad at it. I thought he didn't like it.
Oh my god. Oh,
that's fantastic.
Oh man, that really. Oh, that hit home.
Now I can see the fun you guys have when I'm doing this. It's nice on this
so
side.
Good. See, Matt's got this face on right now. Oh, see, now he's resetting his camera.
He's resetting. Okay.
I like it. There we go. Now he's
there.
back.
He is. He's back. Matty Ice. That was good. Did you hear that?
Matt? Did you hear the Matty Ice comment?
No, I didn't hear that one. What was?
They said Matty Ice. We stopped and just like belly laughed for like a solid 2 minutes. I love it. Marty comes in with a super chat, says, Aussie Jet, good day, mates. He didn't say mates, but I said good day, mates anyway. Nickname Rocket Man for Zach Wilson. So that's, God, I love hearing all these nicknames. So let's do that. Guys, post your favorite Zach Wilson thing in the comment section over on the side. And as we kind of go through it, shout them out.
You want to know the nickname? Here's my favorite nickname for Zach Wilson. Panthers starting quarterback. How's that?
Oh, not nice.
No, don't do that to me. I don't want Sam Darnold again. So I see Tomcat Zach, Wall Street. I think Wall Street Wilson is just like the winner. I've got a shirt design that's coming out because I have like already put in for like the artwork because I was gonna try and do it, but I was like, I don't trust my art skills with trying to make this actually work. But man, I got a Wall Street Wilson thing coming out, and it's gonna be nice. Maybe I'll give away that shirt before we even make the pick, and someone's gonna be able to wear it come draft day.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's kind of cool.
There's a couple good ones in the chat. Mormon Mahomes.
That's my favorite one.
That's fantastic. That's good.
That's such a great
New York Zach Exchange.
Ooh, that's good.
Zach Exchange is a good one.
Yeah.
Zach Attack. I've heard Zach the Ripper.
Yeah, that's good too.
New Zach City, the anti-Darnold, dropping dimes.
No
Zach
dime.
Willie.
Yeah,
Zach
no dimes,
Willie.
Right, Matt?
That's an interesting one. Zach to the future. Ooh, man, we have so many different. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Broadway Zachy, Icy Zach. Ooh, NASDAQ. It's like NASDAQ. That's a good one.
Who is that?
That's clever. I like that.
Freakwish with the unique one. That's pretty good, buddy.
That's that. I would say that is as unique as I've kind of come across at this point. Zach Street Boys. Oh God, man. Zach's Fifth Avenue. That's a good one too. West Side Wilson. Wow, man, you guys got a whole bunch of them. Man, could you? As soon as Zach Wilson hits New York, how many girls are going to be Jets fans now? Like, the dude's beautiful. Ugh.
He is very handsome. That hair is phenomenal.
It's on point. Everything about it is just fantastic. Mike, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, I think people don't want to trade for Sam if he's not going to play. If he doesn't have an option, can't they just sign him next year without giving up anything? Possibly. The Jets have until, I believe, 2 days after the draft to exercise Sam's 5th-year option. So in the event he's not traded, they could, in theory, exercise that 5th-year option, which would be cheaper than them signing him to the franchise tag in the event they want to do a sign and trade or something like that. Now that said, he's not. I think he's getting traded draft night. I think this is going to be a moot point, but they could, in theory, sign him after the season if we don't exercise the 5th-year option. So interesting. Joe with the super chat says, evening, gents. Good job as usual. Love Jenkins at 34 and Carmen in the 4th. Both can play guard with Jenkins taking over for Fant next year. Your thoughts? I'll be honest, I haven't done a whole lot of digging into, I guess what would be a tackle and a guard at those picks. I don't love the idea of going tackle too early. I'm okay with bringing in some depth, but I think George Fant is definitely fine for this year. I would even be okay with him for next year too, because I think they're only going to get better with a full training camp and with guys actually playing next to them compared to what we saw this year. So, Matt, I'll throw it to you first. Do you know either one of these players, and how do you feel about maybe going tackle higher in the draft?
I don't want to go tackle super early. If you want to sell me on a mid-round tackle, like in the 4th or 5th round, maybe I could probably do that, just because I am not a Chuma Udoka guy. I don't think we should be one snap away from him having to play. So I'm okay with bringing in like a better depth option, but I don't think you have the luxury of using a pick on someone like that until maybe the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round. Because let's say you trade Darnold and you have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, like you have to try to bang out as many starters as humanly possible in those first 3 rounds. And then after that is when you can get your depth. Like maybe you grab your linebacker in round 4, or you grab your backup offensive tackle, the developmental tackle, I guess I should say, around that spot. But they have so many holes still that I don't know if they have the opportunity to say, let's take a tackle who's going to sit for a year and then maybe could be the starter in 2022.
Green Bean, what are your thoughts on going tackle a little bit higher than maybe some of us might have thought?
I don't think we're going to do that, and I'll tell you exactly why. I think one of Joe Douglas's best moves really has been his own evaluation of George Fant, and the fact that he played well last year when everybody thought that was a throwaway pick. It was a desperation move, and George Fant played well, and not only played well, he was a very positive influence on the team, on the younger players. He was voted team captain, all that sort of stuff. He has a 3-year contract. I think Joe Douglas is really behind him unless he falls through the floor, so to speak. So I don't think that's really something that we're looking to do, is to use one of our top 3 or 4 picks on a tackle. I do think a tackle's coming. I think Tevin Jenkins is a very good tackle, but I think where we're going to be picking taking a tackle is probably going to be a little bit further down the line. So I would be surprised unless the tackle was projected to play guard, like a Vera Tucker, like that kind of thing. But look what we did last year with Cam Clark. Everybody's wondering where Cam Clark is, and everybody forgets, aside from no training camp and no preseason, the guy's switching positions. He's going from tackle to guard, and he had an injury. So those types of things, they don't always happen in one season like everybody likes to think they do. Oh, we'll just switch him to right tackle or whatever it is. It doesn't always work that easily. So I think, again, the premium picks we're going to use on guys that are more than likely, immediate contributors. And then we'll develop pipeline guys from the 4th, 5th, and 6th rounds, is my opinion.
Evan, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, how about getting Travis Etienne? I don't love going running back so high. If you want to convince me running back at 34 I would prefer probably Najee over Etienne at that point. But if Etienne was there and the corner or guard that I wanted was not there, I still think there's going to be other players. So I would say no to Etienne, but I do think 34 would be the earliest I could pull the trigger on one of those two running backs. Matt, I saw you shaking your head. How are you feeling about Etienne?
Yeah, I want to make this abundantly clear. I am a huge fan of both Travis Etienne and Najee Harris. I think they're going to be very, very good NFL players. As I said not 2 minutes ago, the Jets have a ton of needs, and they can't use pick 34 on a running back. Cannot happen. You can get by with the running back committee. Take your boy Gainwell in round 3 or 4. That's perfect. Great. Honestly, I don't want to go completely off the rail. I'm going to slip in a hot take and then get back on the track. Would not be stunned if LaMichael Pirine is a cut because of getting a rookie this year and having Tevin Coleman and Ty Johnson and Josh Adams in the mix. I think there's a chance he could be the odd man out. Back to getting on track.
Man, I'd be pretty upset. I hope that doesn't happen, but I could see it, I guess. Man,
if they draft a rookie, I don't know how you can keep 5 running backs on the roster. But where was I going with this? Oh, yes. 34. Got to be either a corner or a guard, one of those two positions.
Green Bean, your thoughts on Travis Etienne?
Yeah, well, I agree with you guys. I just don't see. I mean, I think the best thing is the stat Matt brought up a few months back. It's about when you look at the organizations Joe Douglas has been associated with for the last 20 years, only in his rookie year has a running back been taken higher than the 4th round. Like, it's just not the school where he came up, using your premium resources on running backs when you can get really excellent value in the later rounds. They just brought in a vet. They already have 3 guys on the roster. I think if we do see a running back, we're looking at a 5th round running back at the highest. I would love Najee Harris. Love him. There's not a single other word I could say. And if they did decide to override everything, throw caution to the wind and grab him, I'd be happy about it because I know he's going to come in and be a stud. At the same time, I just don't think it's likely. And I think if they did take one of the two, it would be Najee Harris over Travis Etienne.
I like it. Ryan, thank you so much for the super chat, says, okay, I wish I could add picks from the movie The Incredibles. Would you rather have Sam Darnold as Syndrome or Zach Wilson as Dash? Incredible. Wow. That's Syndrome he's the, like, I don't want to say the fake supervillain, but he's the supervillain with like the reddish hair. Or I think Zach Wilson as Dash is way closer than Sam Darnold is to Syndrome. Matt,
Agreed.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, as a fellow kind of redhead, I'm a redhead, sure. We get compared to every single other person in history who has ever had red hair. It's a very generalized thing. So just because he's got like kind of like a brownish red hair doesn't mean he looks like Syndrome. So I'm going to stand up for my guy that way. I'm 100% with you. Dash and Zach Wilson is just, that's perfect. I love it.
Green Bean, you know who these two characters are?
Is Dash the little kid who runs fast? Is that what that is?
Yeah. Context clues. I like it.
Yeah,
Dash looks like Zach Wilson.
Does he?
He does. You got to watch The Incredibles again, my friend.
I did. I watched both of them.
I haven't watched the second one. I've watched the first one.
I found those movies to be unspectacular, and I'm a big kid movie guy. Like, I love it. I love that shit. But The Incredibles didn't do it for me for some reason, and I didn't retain anything. Nothing.
I like The Incredibles.
The second one was The first one is a classic though. Pixar.
Yeah, you like it.
Yeah, I think
so. Real quick, let's do this. What's your favorite Pixar movie, or let's say maybe your favorite and like maybe a honorable mention? I'll do mine off the top of my head real quick. Moana is definitely one of my favorite Pixar movies. I think that was a really, really well done one. The soundtrack was awesome, and I thought it was a lot of fun. Nice. Then it's hard for me not to go Toy Story. I love Toy Story.
Yeah,
and you could really say any of the first like 3. I didn't necessarily love 4. I would say 1 and 3 were both really good. Matt, your favorite Pixar movies?
Yeah, number one for me is the original Toy Story by far. That's my all-time favorite Disney slash Pixar movie.
Mm-hmm.
Under the radar, biggest sleeper. So many people sleep on this movie, and it is such a phenomenal Pixar movie. A Bug's Life.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. A Bug's Life is Pixar. Ants is DreamWorks.
Ants is DreamWorks. You know, there's
I liked Ants more than I like Bug's Life, but I liked Ants more. Yeah, I liked Ants more.
Okay. That's funny
I mean,
because
I don't have any issue with Bug's Life either. Yeah, go on.
Let me give you guys a short history lesson. So, Pixar was a company that Steve Jobs bought, right? So, Steve Jobs, after he was outed from Apple, bought Pixar, but Pixar wasn't the company. Pixar was the machine that created the animations, right? He loved the machine and he bought this machine. Later on, the company ended up being named after it. So the first movie that they were working on was A Bug's Life, and a guy who was in the inner circle in that company ended up leaving, stole the plan, so to speak, of the movie, because nothing like that had ever been seen before, went to DreamWorks and sold it. So DreamWorks, they came out at the same time. And just like you just did, most people correlate the two because of this reason. And one of Steve Jobs' most consuming resentment was toward that guy who stole that, went to DreamWorks and used their crazy original idea and gave it to them. And Ants even came out before Bug's Life. They did it in the fast lane and they fucking stole it. So you're a fan of the Monkees over the Beatles, dude. That's kind of crazy. You know, that's what's going on here.
So what's interesting? What's interesting? I didn't realize. I thought Moana was a Pixar movie. I guess it's just a Disney movie. I would say Moana's. Yeah, I thought it was one of the Disney Pixar ones. So Greenman, what were your movies that you picked?
So I think Toy Story literally changed the world. So I'm going to say that, but I'm going to also say Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3, I used to actually play that in men's groups in the addiction program I used to run. I used to play Toy Story 3, and I had my therapist in the back documenting who was wiping their eyes and who was crying. And then we had this whole therapeutic thing that we did. And guys always cry to fucking Toy Story 3. I love Toy Story 3 so much that I won't even watch Toy Story 4. I think Toy Story 3 was the perfect conclusion to Toy Story, and I don't like that they made a part 4. So that's number one, but I'm going to tell you that I think WALL-E is another one
that's
that
a good
had
one.
a major impact on me. And an honorable mention is going to be Cars.
Great one, too.
Ooh.
Yep.
Have you ever seen the Pixar Theory? If you guys haven't watched Pixar Theory, go over and just Google it, because it's the idea that all the Pixar movies are somehow intertwined. Like it started with, I believe, what was it? The Good Dinosaur was like the first and like early side, and then it goes through everything, and I think it ends with like WALL-E and Cars. Like somehow Cars turns into like the evolution of like life and everything on the planet. It's bananas. You should Bananaland. But let me rattle off some of the Pixar movies real quick. Toy Story, Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille was a good one. WALL-E, Up is probably the most depressing one, but I really enjoyed it. Toy Story 3 was great. Cars 2 can burn in hell. Brave, Monsters University, I enjoyed. Inside Out was a good one. I saw Ali like that too.
Yeah, it was so good.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
The Good Dinosaur, Finding Dory. I don't know if I said Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo was a great one. Cars 3, Coco, Incredibles 2, Toy Story 4, Onward, and Soul. I haven't seen Onward or Soul yet. The Finding Nemo one was so good. And they're all good. I could literally sit and watch like any of these Pixar movies. All right, back to football. Sorry. Tangents here. John Nolte, thank you so much for the super chat, says, really glad I tapped into all three of you guys' channels. It timed perfectly with Joe Beningo's retirement for me as my post-game recap since I moved to Florida. John, that is awesome. I'm glad you guys, you tuned in to us. I've heard that a lot. I don't know if you guys have gotten similar comments, but guys that have moved away from the New York, New Jersey area, they tune into a lot of the YouTubers because we kind of, I don't want to say we know what's going on, more than maybe, I guess, their local beat radio, but it's kind of fun. It sort of keeps you within the realm. I mean, we got guys from Australia tuning in. I've got guys from Brazil and like Ireland, is literally all over the place.
Yeah.
I had a map for a little while, literally where someone told me they were from. Some cool stuff. So John, it's really cool. I take that as a compliment and an honor for the whole panel here. Muslim, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, if Farley falls to us at 23 because of his injury history, do you take a chance? If not at 23, how about if he falls to us in the second round? The first round is a very, very risky venture to take someone who may be deemed injury prone. And I don't know if Farley is deemed injury prone or if it's just the back injury and the back surgery that's kind of causing that whole potential situation. So I'll say this. If Farley falls to us at 23, it'll depend for me who else is on the board. If JC Horn's there, I'm probably taking JC Horn. If Elijah Vera Tucker's there, I'm probably taking Elijah Vera Tucker. I'm definitely taking him at 34 if he falls there, but I don't think he'll make it quite that far. Green Bean, your thoughts on Farley, and would you take him at 23?
Well, do we know about how well that injury thing? He had a back surgery, didn't he? Like, that's kind of why he was the consensus top dog of, him and Surtain were kind of veering back and forth with each other. But I don't know, man. Like I said, it's going to be real hard for me to pass my offensive dynamos at 23. Now, if Farley slid back and I knew for a fact that I got a clean bill of health, he was cleared, I might not be able to pass him. I love him. I really
man. Sorry, John dropping in with a $2 super chat. I was going to bring this up and I didn't do it because I didn't want to go too far off topic. I love the Darth Jar Jar theory. Have you guys heard the Darth Jar Jar theory?
Yeah.
Oh, man. You need to watch this video after this stream. By all means, go watch this video. Type in Darth Jar Jar into the search bar because it's a fact. It is absolutely a fact. He is a Sith Lord. 100%. John hit the nail on the head. The Darth Jar Jar theory is probably my favorite fan theory. I just get excited for that stuff. Sorry. Coming off the rails a little bit. Tony Lee drops in with a super chat, says, similar, or actually, sorry, Matt, did I talk to you about Farley? I didn't talk to you about Farley yet.
I'll make it quick. I have 2 words for you on Farley. That scares me. D. Milner. There you go.
D. What?
D. Milner.
He says.
Yeah, see, and that's the deal. Taking injured guys at the first round picks I'm very uncomfortable with that, right, Matt? It's like it's too much.
Exactly. A great player. I just can't trust the injury right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Hall, get him in the 5th.
I love the Bryce Hall. Yeah, right?
Yeah, so great.
Green Bean was on that way before everyone else.
I was watching him here in Charlottesville. Yeah.
Tony Lee, thank you so much for the super chat, says, similar to the earlier question, pick any one offensive or defensive player from any Jets season ever. Darrelle Revis from 2009-2010. That's an easy one for me. Offense. God. I'm going to say Nick Mangold. I friggin' love Nick Mangold. I just love everything about him. I know center's not necessarily like the strongest position, and some people are probably going to say Namath or Martin or one of those guys, but I love Nick Mangold. I really do. Matt, what about you? Who are you taking from the Jets offense, defense all time?
See, a defense was an easy one because I'm taking 2009 Darrelle Revis. Offense is much, much more difficult. I guess 04 Martin, but
that was yep.
Interesting.
So Green Bean, who are you taking in this conversation?
I'm gonna. I know I forget the exact year that it was, but I'm gonna take the Mark Gastineau in the year he got 22.5 sacks, and then I'm probably gonna take Al Toon before the concussions, like his second year. I think it was his second year. He got like 1,400 yards, something like that. I forget what it was, but he was something else, man. That fucking poor guy. We ruined him too. The AstroTurf. We played on concrete at the time.
AstroTurf is so bad, just ripping up guys' knees. I'm glad they got away from it. Now we just have a stadium where the opposing teams rip up their knees, like the 49ers. Oh, jeez. RJ McPot says Zoo York Zach. That's a good nickname. I like that. Big fan of the Zoo York stuff. Jeff Logue, thank you for the super chat. He says, with a weak free agency at O-line, obviously we're going to hit it hard in the draft. After his pro day, do you think Creed Humphrey is a must? I'll be honest, I haven't seen Creed Humphrey's pro day at all. Last I saw, we were looking somewhere late second, early third for where he would wind up falling. I think if he's there with our first third-round pick, I would make that selection. If I trust Douglas, so if he wants to make him the pick 34, by all means, I trust his O-line judgment there. I do think Creed Humphrey, the center from, I think it's Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be cool with Humphrey. I just don't know where I would take him at that point. I would say 34 would be like the absolute earliest, and I would like that to be later than that even. Green Bean, your thoughts on Creed Humphrey?
Yeah, I love him. I think he's a slam dunk. I think he has really low bust potential, and I would be fine taking him at pick 23. 34, I think if you take him at 34, I'm dude. If he's sitting there at 34, you don't take him, I'm going to be pissed off. That's that kind of guy. I think it's time to start getting these long-term offensive linemen like Becton. Did you see Becton's text? He responded to somebody saying the Jets should take Sewell so they get that 10-year Pro Bowl guy. He said the Jets already have a 10-year Pro Bowl guy. So it's like, I love that. And it's like, Becton, it's just like the old DeBrickashaw Ferguson, Mangold kind of thing. Like I crave that. So yeah, I think bring Creed Humphrey aboard.
So would you be on board with, say, like, Elijah Vera Tucker at 23 and a Creed Humphrey at 34? Is that what you're kind of looking at?
Oh, that would be.
I would. Yeah, I would.
Man.
Absolutely. I have no
that
problem
would
with
be
that. None.
If you just revamp the offensive line. If you can just have a strong offensive line. I don't know if you have Creed play guard this year or McGovern play guard, but just having a strong offensive line, oh God, it would be so important for the Jets to revamp this O-line.
Think about that draft, Ryan, right? Mm-hmm. Like let's say we take Zach Wilson to make you guys happy. So we take Zach Wilson. We're putting it all on this kid. This is our guy. And then we already have Becton, and we bring in Elijah Vera Tucker, and then Creed Humphrey, move McGovern over to guard. Now we have that offensive line with the receivers that we have. We take an Amari Rodgers in the third, or you know what I mean? Like, now we're talking, dude. Who are you talking to? Like, that's what we should do. Look what the Colts did a couple years ago. They traded us. They traded back from 3 to 6, and their next 2 picks were interior one was a right tackle, but they were offensive linemen, and nobody's questioned that since. You know what I mean? And that's the way.
One of my guys that's in my bridal party hates the band Creed. So this is for you, Rich. Mo Creed! his buddy used to play Creed in college all the time, and he got to the point where he threw the stereo system out the window. That's how he was so pissed every time he'd start singing Creed. Matt, your thoughts on Creed Humphrey and where are you taking him?
I was gonna say something that I thought was a hot take, but Green Bean kind of stole my thunder. I think he's a first round pick.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the chat's going that way too. I'm way off base because I've been using the Pro Football Nation or whatever the network thing for mocks, and he's always fallen to the third round. Throwing me off.
I think the Chiefs could grab him at 30.
Yeah.
Or 31, whatever it is.
A
Yeah.
lot of people are saying the Steelers. He's not falling past the Steelers because they just Pouncey just retired.
That's right. Think about that. They have Pouncey. He leaves. They bring in another 10-year starter. That's the way that it seems so easy when they do it. Yet over here we struggle with the simple ideas. It's like, no, dude, just fucking bring in Creed Humphrey and Elijah Vera Tucker or Wyatt Davis, and then you start developing guys. You bring in a 5th-round guard, a 6th-round tackle, a Larrick Jackson, one of those guys, and you just call it a day with the offensive line. You know what I mean?
So Gohan Angered in the chat says, take Creed at 23 because we're in front of the Steelers, and then go with a guard at 34. So, I mean, that probably makes more sense because I don't think Elijah Vera Tucker is going to be there for the Jets at 23. He's the pick I would make if he is there. But I think Wyatt Davis is going to be there at pick 34. So, or at least there's other guards that I do like. Like the Alabama guard, I think is pretty good.
He's just a little fat.
Yeah, Deontay
He's a
Brown.
little fat. Yeah.
But there are such good offensive linemen in this draft, and like it's a deep draft, and like when you look at all the quarterbacks, like there was only supposed to be a top 4, right? And now we're talking about Mac Jones, so there's a top 5. Now we're really talking about Kyle Trask being an early second, and Kellen Mond had a good pro day, and all this sort of stuff. And when you start looking at all those guys being taken up front, added to Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Rashad Bateman. Dude, some of these guys are getting pushed down. So the Vera Tuckers, the Creed Humphreys, they're all going to be around, man. Like, they're not all of them, but a lot of these guys are going to pop through. And that's when, like last night in our mock, Micah Parsons made it all the way to pick, 34? I was like,
oh my God.
And we had to take him. So, but that's the type of thing that's going to happen. Hopefully it's a position that we need, and it's not like the McCagnon style where like that's the one position we have 5 good guys and just because he's the best player. But like when guys start popping through, that's where to really maximize your value. And I think there are so many top tier guards, not so many, but there's a nice handful of top tier interior linemen. You're going to get some. And I think this is the year to do it, man. Get your quarterback and protect his ass. You know what I mean? That's what we do.
So Matt, any more thoughts? I kind of cut you off on the Creed Humphrey talk.
No, I really like him. And I think he's a riser. I think he's someone who maybe like a month ago was like a late second or early third round kind of guy. But I think his stock is definitely significantly rising. And I agree with Green Bean. I think he's someone who you could plug in and play right away. And if there's a scenario where you can grab him at 23, and if Wyatt Davis is there at 34, which I think he can be with the injury, I don't think he's going the first round now, then great. But as you alluded to earlier, if Elijah Vera Tucker somehow makes it to 23, which I would be very surprised with, he has to, like, that's a no-brainer to me. You make that pick any day.
Yeah.
I almost said multivitamins. He says, apparently I'm buying dinner for everyone right now. LOL. Am I the only one who wants the running back from Ohio State in the 3rd or 4th round? No, I don't think so. I think any one of us would be fine with that. I like Sermon.
You know who I want though? My favorite running back outside of Najee Harris is Kylan Hill. I'm digging him. I love him. I think he's a Joe Douglas type of guy. So if we grab Trey Sermon, I'll be happy, man. I like Trey Sermon. He's the real deal, dude. But I think I prefer Kylan Hill over all these cats.
That's interesting. I don't know enough about him. I'd have to watch more tape because
you'll love
him. I'm a big fan of the I don't know. I've been on Gainwell since halfway through the season. I'm riding or dying on that hill.
You turned me on to him like fucking 4 months ago. Dude, I'm on my 3rd energy drink. Somebody's got to help me.
If you need an IV drip of just straight Red Bull or like Monster into your veins.
I need help. Like I can't. I don't know because
I
don't. I'm gonna die. My wife's like, dude, you're gonna die. So it's like I gotta stop. I gotta get it out loud. This is how recovering people work. Like I gotta talk about it. I'm sorry, but fucking I just popped another one. I'm like, this is number 3 since I started this damn live stream. I'm like, I gotta calm the fuck down. I'm all like, I'm gonna be recording videos later and shit.
You're gonna be up to 4 a.m. doing videos.
So I'm gonna go another movie route here. Have you seen Role Models with the Minotaur energy drink? Oh man!
Yes.
The Minotaur energy drink. They go to the bathroom and they go to pee, and it's like pure green. He's like, oh, it looks like a highlighter.
That's so great. That's a great movie.
Oh, dude. All right, let's burn through some more super chats. Guys, we got about 5 more minutes left in the stream. Make sure you head down into the description or the pinned live chat comment off to the side. There is a link to Green Bean's channel, Full-Time Coaster Tour. You have to subscribe to that channel, like the video that I'm sending you to, and then leave a comment saying the Talkin' Jets panel sent you there. We're going to give away a shirt in just like 5 minutes time. So let's burn through some of these super chats. Friggle D says, did you notice Zach Wilson has Jimmy Clausen face? Does it worry you? Yeah, he sort of looks like a young Ellen DeGeneres. That's what I said yesterday. And like this, maybe Jimmy Clausen, the quarterback from the Carolina Panthers that was taken like pick 32 or 33 or 34. And then 1 year later they took Cam.
He went to Notre Dame. They drafted him in 2010. He didn't do crap. Mel Kiper said he was going to retire if he was a miss in the draft, and he's still doing it a decade later.
And he was a big miss. Huh? I don't even know. That doesn't even ring a bell to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's just it. They moved on from him so fast. They just blew it up. So no, I'm not worried about Friggledy. Jacob Booth, thank you for the super chat. And I do not. Was that a euro? I guess he says. Note the currency of my chat. He says should do who's staying up the latest to watch this live stream competition. Ooh, let us know in I guess military time what time it is at your current location to see where you are staying up and being awake for. Because if I say not military time, then it's gonna throw me for a loop. I'm going to be like, oh, it's 2 a.m. or 2 p.m.? Like, oh, but that's not even going to help me because, like, I guess what time? No, it would be what is your current time? That would make sense, right? So Liam says, oh, God, I can't even read military time. What am I doing? Oh, I can't do the conversion in my head fast.
I'm in radio. I got you.
See, you could rattle it off then. Michael V. Basso says, I'll be Zach. That's another good... Man, we got movies. I'm a big movie buff. I'm like about 1 month away, maybe even 2 weeks away once I get my new couch to like... I'm like a big movie guy. So like I have money set aside for a brand new projector, like 4K projector, sound system, all this good stuff. Nice. And like Terminator might have to be one of those movies. I'll be Zach's a good one. Man, so good. All right, Green Bean, you got your channel pulled up, the video. If not, go head over to that.
I'm doing it right now. Let's see here.
Guys, you better make sure go head over to the Coaster Tour. You gotta like, subscribe, and post on that video. Talk with Jets panel sent you there because we have to give away a shirt right now. Right now.
Right. So what are we gonna do? You're gonna pick a number and I'll do that comment.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's go. Chat, give us a number 15 through 69. 15 through 69. What number are we getting?
12.
Totally random number choice selection. So let's see which one pops up first. Oh, you guys are talking about who y'all got in Godzilla vs. King Kong. I can't wait. I gotta download it because I have this Plex server and I have like virtually every Godzilla movie. I'm a big monster movie guy. Dude, Godzilla, King Kong, Pacific Rim, like all these guys. I could watch monster movies for friggin' days. Big time. Okay, 69 is clearly the winner here. So let's do 6 plus 9. So that way Green Bean's not going through 69 all the time.
That's right. All right, let me do this. Let me count 15. Hold on. 1, 2. Nicholas Cote, C-O-T-E.
Ooh, Nicholas Cote. Nicholas Cote gonna win a shirt tonight. Ooh. Make sure you hit me up either through Gmail or through Instagram, Facebook, any one of those. Just reach out to me. Let me get your contact info so I can send you out a shirt. Guys, that takes us to the end of our show. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. Now let's go around, get some closing thoughts. Green Bean, any last words for the panel?
We're also having a live stream, a draft contest next week. Go to my Instagram. You'll see how to do it. All you got to do is sub to our 3 channels and Full-Time Coaster Tour. Next Monday night at the 10 o'clock mock, we're all going to share the screen with 5 of you guys and do a full first round mock where you get to control the teams. Once again, subscribe to our 3 channels, Full-Time Coaster Tour, and go to my Instagram under the contest link and write done, and you're in. And I'm going to do the drawing tomorrow.
Ooh, I can't wait. I'm so excited for this mock draft. We've been looking forward to this for weeks now. Matt, any last words for the panel?
Yeah, I'm going to send people over to Twitter. So there is a March Madness style bracket for Jets podcasters. And I am in a very tough matchup against NYJ Matt and NYJ Mike. It's very close right now. I want to pull up where we are. It's 51% Broadway Jets, 49% just Jets right now with 22 hours to go. And the Twitter account is Isaac Okoro _season, SZN. And you can vote in all of them. But it's super close right now.
Guys, Matt is going to leave that comment in the description. He's going to leave that comment. I'm going to pin it to the bottom of this video after this goes like public. So Matt, make sure you comment there, and we're going to send everyone over there. Matt's not losing this. Just Jets is winning this podcast thing. We got this.
Yes.
All right, boys and girls. It's been a lot of fun. We had fun hanging out with you. We'll be back here again next Tuesday, 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Sorry, 10 o'clock, middle of the ocean time. Guys, it's been a lot of fun. My name's Ryan. I've been your pilot. This is Jets Talk, signing off. J-E-T